wish for your spouse to have the opportunity to work while they are waiting for their permanent residency application? Does your spouse wish for the opportunity to see what the Canadian economy has to offer? If so, your spouse should apply for an open spousal work permit. An open spousal work permit allows your spouse to work for any employer anywhere in Canada while they await for their permanent residency status. In this video, I will address the steps needed to obtain an open spousal work permit, as well as who can apply and who cannot, and further steps. In order to determine who can apply for an open spousal work permit, this entirely depends on the type of spousal application that you had applied for prior to the open work permit application. There are two spousal sponsorship applications, which are the inland spousal sponsorship or the overseas spousal sponsorship. Only one of the two is actually qualified to apply for an open spousal work permit, and that would be the inland spousal sponsorship. Therefore, if your spouse is already currently within Canada, they are eligible to apply for an open spousal work permit. The only requirement that the spouse must take into consideration before applying for an open spousal work permit is whether the sponsor is able to sponsor them. Once they receive this confirmation, the first step of the spousal sponsorship application is complete, and they can then proceed to apply for an open spousal work permit. In most cases, immigration will inform you whether or not you can apply for an open spousal work permit after the first stage is complete. In contrast, open spousal work permits do not apply for overseas spousal sponsorship applications, unfortunately. Furthermore, after the first stage of the spousal sponsorship application for overseas applications does not guarantee that you can apply for a work permit. In this scenario, the spouse can still apply for a work permit within Canada, but they would have to abide by the general eligibility requirements for a work permit in Canada. It is important to note that when and if you receive an open spousal work permit, the validity time of the spousal work permit is for 1 year. However, this entirely depends on the processing time for the spousal sponsorship application. Keep in mind, if the spousal sponsorship application has not come to a decision, you can apply to extend the open spousal work permit. In order for your spouse to apply for an open spousal work permit, there are some documents that they would need to provide in order to submit the application. It is important to understand that with this specific work permit, you are not required to have a Canadian employer within Canada prior to applying for the work permit. You are allowed to work for any employer within Canada. However, even so, you must still provide certain details of yourself in order to qualify for an open spousal work permit, such as your nationality, your language ability, your age, your family, your level of education, your previous work experience, your income and financial support, and lastly, details of the job that you would like to obtain in Canada. The answers that you provide for these specific questions and qualifications will determine whether or not you can get an open spousal work permit. With any immigration application, it is very important to remember that the ultimate decision is in the hands of the immigration officer. However, here at Akrami & Associates, we can definitely help you and make your application as strong as can be. It is very important for you to take all of the aforementioned documentation and requirements into consideration prior to applying for an open spousal work permit. Here at Akrami & Associates, we have worked and dealt with many immigration matters, and we have helped many of our clients gain employment within Canada. If you believe that you may be eligible for an open spousal work permit, please feel free to contact us. With Akrami & Associates, there's always a way.